Okay, I have 10 o'clock and we'll call the Harrison County Commission meeting for September 15th to order. If you would rise and join us in the invocation of the flag.
Father God, thank you for this wonderful day that you've bestowed upon us, Lord. Thank you for this meeting. May it bless and may it help the people of the county of Harrison. Be with us as we perform this meeting and as we go about our duties after this meeting is over. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have a bid opening at 10 o'clock for Courthouse Janitorial. Yeah, Laura.
Our first bid is from Quality Home and Office Cleaning. Their bid amount for 2 full-time employees, 1 part-time, $8,950. The second one is from Linus. Theirs is for 5 full-time cleaners and a supervisor. Their monthly rate is $9,138.17. The last one is from Hastings Service. Theirs is for 1 supervisor and 3 janitors for a total of $17,941.59 per month. I will go through them and make sure that they went.
I mean, I'd like to
Bid specs and everything.
look at them.
Yeah.
Make a copy, so if you want to look at these, Mr. Trickle. So do we want a motion to come back next week?
Motion for the county administrator to come back with recommendation.
Okay, there's been a motion made for the administrator to come back next week with a recommendation on the mentioned bids.
Recommendation to do this, it costs us more money, or we're gonna do it ourselves.
I think that's what she's going to look at and compare.
I just heard that she was gonna look and come back and recommend a company. call.
You want to add that to your
I think she's
motion?
already done that, so yeah, she can
Okay.
add it.
The motion has been amended to add that. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Is there anyone signed up for public comment?
No.
Is there anyone on Zoom that wishes to speak publicly? Anyone on Zoom that wishes to speak publicly? Hearing none, we will move on to the consent agenda. What's the pleasure?
Motion to move forward and adopt in the record.
Motion's been made to move forward with the consent agenda and adopt into the record. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 3, payroll change notices. We have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H.
Motion to move forward all of the above.
Motion to move forward with all of the payroll change notices.
Discussion.
Excuse me, I could have finished, but that's all right. Go ahead.
We need to go on discussion.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not doing it fast enough. for you,
No.
Mr. Hinkle.
You're not.
Okay,
I see 2 hires for planning department.
Correct.
We voted for one. Did we vote for the second?
We did vote to hire someone in planning. We also voted,
I'm asking them. I'm not asking you. I'm asking my fellow commissioners when we voted for 2. Guys have an answer?
Nope.
Can somebody tell me what position we hired for? Because we have 3 different classifications in planning, and I have no idea what these people's jobs are. Or if I seen anything that says they're qualified, I haven't seen anything yet that says they've been through all the background checks. I haven't seen anything for us to prove other than we're just gonna say yes to a piece of paper.
I believe that is Laura's job.
No, it's
to
our
take care
job. We hire, she doesn't. Now, if we're gonna change form of government, we can bring that up the next meeting.
Okay, you do
We
that.
hire,
You do
she doesn't
that.
hire.
Okay,
And if our attorney thinks that she hires and we don't, I'd like to hear him say that right now.
Well, my initial question is what job was posted? What went out?
No idea. Good question.
Okay. Well, I'd like to see the description that went out and look at the minutes from the meeting on the issue. And see what went out.
We'd all like to see the minutes, but if you go back in our minutes book, they're never there.
We'll just have to agree to disagree on that. But the hiring needs to be consistent with the job posting. And we can take a look at that if you want to table these 2 items today.
I'll call the question, Madam President.
Again, I'm not through discussing, it's never been this commission that doesn't look at the people's paperwork and that everything's been approved by the commission. This is our job, not hers. We hire, she does. And I've been here longer than you 2, and Susan, you know for a fact, sitting 16 years here, that the county administrator never hired a soul. Everything came and was approved by the commission, and we saw the paperwork. I have no idea anything about these people, and you want me to sit here today and hire you.
are you done?
No, then you want to go down to the next one. You've got, I have no idea what we're going to do with Matheny. Are you all going to accept his promotion?
I can speak to that.
No, they can speak to that.
I'm going to vote on the payroll change notice as presented.
as presented. So then you're going to also vote for the Craig Dale discharge?
I'm voting on the payroll change notices as presented.
Okay. Let's see, will we send a copy of the employee discharge notice and what was done for this person? The review for compliance? I didn't get anything. Did you get something? It's in our handbook. Everything that she does in the way of discipline, we're supposed to get a copy and we're supposed to look at it and we're supposed to approve it. Now, if you want to say it says differently, go ahead, but it's right there in black and white.
On June 19th, 2019,
No,
You-
I'm not asking you a question. I'm just saying it's here in black and white.
well,
Separation from employment. We want to go into this one? So I'm going to say, make a motion that Craig Dale be returned to his job and that this commission apologize for the way it's been handled and for the way Laura Peace has handled it and has not approached this commission in any of her discussions. We are the employer. She works for us. I don't work for her. And it says right here, I'm supposed to be advised of what goes on. One commissioner sat in the meeting when this went on and led the employee to believe, because she sat there, that was a commission approved disciplinary action. She should not have been in the room as a witness. And it has never been brought to this commission to sit and discuss. And at the last meeting, it was on the agenda, and this commission voted to take it off the agenda and let it die. And our employee took it upon herself to discharge him without saying anything, as far as I'm concerned, to any of these commissioners, that she was disciplining and firing somebody without our approval.
What's your
So
motion again, Mr.?
my motion is that Mr. Dale be reinstated and the others be approved.
Motion's been made to reinstate Mr. Dale.
Call the first question, Madam President, in order as they come, please.
I believe I
mine's
have to
first.
take this one first.
Okay.
Okay. Motion's been made to reinstate Mr. Dale and approve the others. Any discussion on that? Hearing none,
No shock there.
hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed?
No,
No. Okay, now we'll go back to the original motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
No. And I want the public to understand, they watched the travesty today of this county commission not doing their job. As usual.
4, minutes and or amended minutes of previous meeting.
motion to approve and adopt in the record.
Motion to approve and adopt into record. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
I
Any opposed?
No.
think it's time for,
We got another minute. Requisition purchase orders invoices, number 5. Vendor requisition list of payments is attached as A. What's the pleasure?
motion to move forward and adopt in the record.
Motion to move forward and adopt into record. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Exoneration corrective tickets, joint property application as attached on Exhibit A and B, exoneration and corrective tickets. What's the pleasure?
Motion for 4th A and B.
Motion to move forward with 6A and B. Any discussion?
Let's move forward, Nate. Is that approved? Could I get a legal question on that? Does forward mean the same as approved?
I would like a motion to approve.
I just was curious, for the last 3 months, all we've done is move forward on stuff. I'm not really sure, does that mean we just keep talking about it at a later date, or we approve?
Do you want to amend your motion, Mr. Treecross, to approve, please?
No, I don't, Madam President.
Okay,
Well, just as long as we understand it's not really a motion.
motion to move forward with number 6A and B. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion
No.
carried. Okay. It is 10:15. We have Mr. Hamrick and Mr. George Jackson, Westport Co-op, Arlington Falls, Gore, Dawmont Area Sewer Project. You can stay right there, Paul, if you want to, or you can come up to the table.
George Jackson couldn't be here this morning, so we have Raymond Ashton, Vice President of the co-op. Glen, one of the board members. And a couple residents from Arlington here as well. Basically, this morning, the last time we had any discussion, the co-op was looking for financing so we could get an upfront check to the Army Corps of Engineers. That was to get an upfront check of approximately $780,000. But on the 1st of September, we were going to come before the commission, but we also had a Teams meeting that same day. So we had to reschedule, but on that Teams meeting on the 1st of September of this year, we were informed that the West Virginia Clean Water State Revolving Fund, all their grant and loan money has been pulled to be replaced with IJDC grant loan. The big problem there is the amount of loan increased from $790,000 to $1.2 million because the IJDC asked for an adjusted total cost for the project based on the COVID materials and supply shortage and the cost of labor. All the projects coming through have increased, so they required that we submit a new total cost for the project, which went from 4.018 to $5.2 million. So they can only grant us $1 million max through the IJDC. So we have to make up the difference on us. The Army Corps of Engineers approved 75% of the total for the first estimate, but not for the second estimate. That is on the co-op. So we're looking, we have another meeting tomorrow, a Teams meeting with the state players. But what happened is with borrowing $1.2 million, or I'm sorry, 1.9 million, we're now looking at the affordable rates just got shot out the window. We were looking at 1.75% of our median household income up until May of this year. To borrow this kind of money and to pay it back increases our user rates to 2.62% of the median household income. So a $46 average for 3,400 gallons jumps up to $69 for 3,400 gallons water. So we're in a bind. They pulled the plug on us. We've known for a couple months since the end of May, 1st of June, that our 25% match, which by the way, back in May of 2019, the state of West Virginia Infrastructure Council gave us a funding decision and we had our 25% match through a grant loan. But in May, late May, early June, we learned that that 25% had to be an upfront check. The state cannot issue a check to the Army Corps of Engineers. And now they've said they can't even let the Army Corps draw down. They can't administer their funds, the state funds in any way, shape or form to include things as far as the Army, the West Virginia State Revolving Fund requires the state to verify Davis-Bacon Act, use of American iron and steel. Even though those same requirements fall on the Army Corps of Engineers, the state has to verify those things themselves, and they've made a decision for the state revolving fund. So today, the update is the project cost went from 4 million to 5 million. We have to make up the difference. I would ask, is there any funds the county commission could commit to bring that amount of needed money that we borrowed to help reduce those user rates? And I'm free to answer any questions. What else?
What's your meeting about? I mean, is there any chance of you getting any more funds?
Yes, but
So you're not
Yes, sir.
sure exactly what the end number is at this point.
now we just know the total was 5.2 million. But I will tell you, there's been discussions between somebody at the state, because we learned at our last team's meeting on Friday that the Public Service Commission had a discussion with the city of Clarksburg. We've had meetings for the city of Clarksburg a couple times, because we asked about maybe getting a different rate to accept our effluent for gray water. But they said they had to charge us the same rate they charge all their other wholesale customers for sewage. And that was, to them, that was only being fair to their other customers, but to us, we didn't think it was fair to charge us the same amount to treat gray water as it would to be for all sewage. So we didn't get anywhere with that. But what we're finding a problem with is if state officials are talking to the city of Clarksburg, we haven't been included. And I would hope if the county commission's involved, you would invite us, because we have a lot of information that it's hard to share sometimes on a phone call when you have 5 or 6 people throwing out comments with no data to back it up. We've had people say, well, step systems they're not sustainable by a small group. Well, I can show you communities across this country, some of them as old as 30 years ago started, and they're still operating just fine. The Army Corps of Engineers just completed a project in Lower City, Ohio. Same funding, same step system, and I brought a handout I can show you on that one. But there's a lot of information. We have people make opinions that decentralized doesn't work. Well, again, give us time, a few minutes, and we can show you the information we have. We've been at this for 20 years. Our goal back in 2002 was to seek a more viable and affordable system. We think we've done that, but now at the last minute with the dollars being pulled, it appears the more convenient and easier way would be to go to Clarksburg. But that leaves out all of the data that we have as far as I, no manholes, the cost for construction, the cost to operate, maintain it is less. So we just hope that if there is a discussion about going to Clarksburg, we be included and be allowed to present our case under due process.
Paul, how much total are you short? Are you still 780 short?
Now we're now we'd be 1.9 today under the new cost estimate.
Okay.
And we can get that through a 40-year loan through the IJDC at 1%. That's the best.
That's going to increase your rates. That's
Yes.
the issue. Okay, $20.
Yes, it raises it to where we would be requiring the customers to use 2.62% of their MHI to pay a sewer bill. And all the data available through the EPA and other federal agencies, when you exceed 2%, you're now creating a burden on your customers. So we're just asking for some assistance to get that number down to a more affordable rate.
So what do you consider an affordable rate? Let's just, for example, the commission gave you $500,000 grant.
The,
Would that be enough to get you down to where you thought you could then operate with your line?
the trick, without, just the top of my head, I will say that would go a long way. Now, I will tell you, the 1.75% was in our initial plan. 2%, that $500,000 could possibly bring it down to the 2% level. Possibly, but I don't have, I'd have to run those numbers.
How many customers?
On phase one, it'd be approximately 120 customers. The total project will be more than 300. About
And
300.
that's in your 5 million? Or is that first phase just 5 million?
That's the first phase.
It's 5 million.
In the second phase, once we start on phase one, the Army Corps is there for us on phase two for another 75%. So we believe under phase one, phase two, we're looking at least $5 million of grant coming from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, but we have to be able to match it. And what we now know is that match means a check. And that was a surprise, I think, a shock to many of us. The state of West Virginia has never had to present a check up front to the Army Corps of Engineers because they've done projects in central and southern West Virginia that's not required. So that's been a fiasco trying to figure out why the northern counties are different, but they're working on it through legislation to change that. But it won't help us.
So how many customers are in phase one?
120.
And then you would have to come back for more for phase two, for the rest of the customers?
What-
Oh, go ahead.
That'd be
I just wanna know if
about a,
Phase two is just laying pipeline or whether the basic system was in there. Are you gonna have to expand what I see here for phase two? So it's gonna take other than pipe or?
phase two with the pack bed filter step system, those Vantex pods that you see there, you add a pod as needed. It's a very easy thing to do. We have the space for it. So if you increase your customers by 100, you change it, you add another pod to the system. Now, I will tell you just for numbers, in 2019, the step system was about $7.6 million. The gravity collection system at that time was about $9.2 million for all 4 communities. So if you use today's numbers, our 7.6 would jump up to a little over 9 million, and the centralized system, gravity collection system, would jump up to close to 12 million. So the cost increase is for both systems. So when we hear that there's conversations about us going to centralize, understand that 5 million is just part of the centralized system as well, if you went that way. So true numbers there would be closer to 12 million. But I think what's disappointing is to even have the conversations. I called the Clarksburg Sanitary Board yesterday. They wasn't aware of any conversation. We were not on the agenda, but apparently there is conversations about us going to Clarksburg. I mean, they went so far to say that to get the Clarksburg city rates to those of us outside the city. And I don't know what to take because we've not been included in any of these discussions. So as of tomorrow, I can't say that that's even an option because I'm not aware of it. None of us are. We've never been invited or included in the discussion. So we're proceeding with our step system, and bottom line is we need some help with the $1.9 million that we need for.
But you haven't talked to Clarksburg.
We talked to him in 2018.
And there was no plan to come to you, but you're hearing that there is now. There may be.
Maybe. The
I think
city
that's
can
something- I
extend
think that's
outside
something
the
we need to
city.
find out
That's not
first.
an argument. Pardon?
I think that should be something we want to find out first. That's just my thoughts.
But understand, if you go and support the city to extend their lines out, you're also, you're not looking at $5 million. For the whole 4 communities, you're probably looking at closer to 12 million. So I'm just saying, when it's convenience, please allow us to present our evidence on the advantages of the step system first.
So you don't want Clarksburg? Is that what I'm hearing?
Rates will be too high.
Well, we don't even
It'll be
want to
cheaper.
offer this. We're not included. That's what I'm saying. If there's discussions going on, we don't know what they would offer, what the rates would be. It would be hard to say yes to this without
So
knowing.
it sounds like you need a discussion with Clarksburg.
We've already had that discussion. I'm just saying,
But
if
in
somebody at the state
2018
is making that discussion without us, and I would hope the county commission would require to
Right.
be included.
I'd like to look into it more.
Yeah, I have to.
Get some
Have you
information.
looked at any other grants?
That's what, Mr. Eagle, that's what we're hoping tomorrow. The infrastructure council is looking at, maybe, I mean, we know there's other funding out there. We were told by the congressional staff members that it was too late to get an earmark for this year. But we also knew the new federal fiscal year is coming up in a couple of weeks. But the Appalachian Regional Commission, there's, this project turned back $1.1 million in 2007 of a small city block grant, but we weren't ready to go forward. At the time, they said we could get that back, but that's a whole new application. County commission would have to agree with that. And that's probably in what, December, January timeframe before.
There's a lot of grants out there right now.
Yeah, I think the one thing tomorrow that the sense of urgency is definitely there. We understand that. The Army Corps of Engineers, they've waited. But the SRF, pooling of the SRF funds, that didn't happen until the 1st of September. That's the first we knew about it. Of this
Because you were looking at a lot less money you needed then than
Yeah.
you do now.
Right. Now, the one thing that was brought up was take the $4 million project and go as far as it could go. And then on phase 2, bring in the additional money, but that wasn't an option. The infrastructure council wants to see no overruns. They want the money up there. Phase 1.
You go to your meeting tomorrow and somebody can reach out to the city and see what their intentions are and we can look for some grants, as Mr. Hinkle
Yeah,
mentioned.
there's a bunch, right now, there's $5 million that can be for grants, but they have to end by the 16th of October. So they're 20% match instead of 25, so.
And then we can come back. How's that sound? Is that?
I know that the Army Corps of Engineers working in the northern counties right now, for example, in Chester, Follansbee, and Payne City. But, and however they're doing it, Payne City had 2 different counties, Wetzel and Powder County, put up ARPA money, and now they're borrowing. They have to present a check as well, but they're borrowing against the IJDC money to pay back the bank financing charge. It's pretty complicated, but, we can't, we were going to borrow, we had West Union Bank, I'll just say it, they were willing to work with us to borrow the $790,000 matching money. That would have been about $50,000 in additional financing. To borrow 1.9, that would bring our financing costs up to $250,000.
So does that sound fair, Paul? You go to your meeting tomorrow and somebody can reach out to the city and you can look into some grants, as Mr. Hinkle alluded to. Maybe he can tell you where they are and what they are. And then we come back. Is that fair, guys?
Yeah, I can go to the city county or the city hall meeting tomorrow night, and ask to speak in the public meeting, but reaching out is one thing, but to get an action taken is.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Well, I like to. But it's not Clarksburg, it'd be the water board you'd have to talk to probably.
Sanitary board.
Yeah.
Thanks, Paul.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, 10:30, Mr. Hoover
And Mr. Dawkins,
and Mr. Dawkins.
he's hiding in the hallway.
He's trying to hide.
Yeah, we approached the commission, I think it was on June the 30th. Proposed water rate increase for all of our customers, is on with ongoing increase. We were asked at that time to tweak a little bit, come up maybe with a two-step increase, which we did. I do believe the commission has that in front of them. 8.8% increase will be done over a year, 6 months on the first phase and 6 months later the second phase. We did build in a truck allotment in there. We were asked to do. We're just here to, we'd like to proceed. We want to move on to this rate. Heard, money, cost of everything has gone up, with COVID, pipe fittings. We haven't had an increase in water rates. It's been a few years.
No, it's been 2 to 3 years now.
Like to give raises, nobody's got a raise, so we'd like to just address some of these issues now. Rather get an 8% now, than look at a 15% down the road.
What was the last increase?
The last increase was 9%.
I think that was 17 or 18.
And then you want an 8 now and you want to come back later for 15 more? Is that what I heard?
No,
Okay,
he's saying
total.
come down for,
4.4.
Total.
Right, total.
yeah, because what we're proposing is to put step 1 rates in, which would be a 4.4% increase. Run those rates for a 6-month period, then implement a step 2 rate increase, which would be another 4.4%. And what that would do, our schedule 1 customers, the minimum bill on step 1 would go up by $1.45. And then on step 2, they would go up by another $1.46. And our schedule 2 customers, their minimum bill would go up by $1.53 on the first step, and at step 2, it would go up another $1.53. So by the time that it was completely implemented on the minimum bill, you'd be looking at about $3 a month increase.
And what time period are we talking for all this?
Looking at, we'd like to get the step 1 started as soon as possible. And then once the step 1 went into effect, that would be in effect for 6 months. Then the step 2 rates would go into effect. Because this will also cover, as you know, we discussed at the last meeting we were at, Nutter Fort is raising their rate also. So part of that increase is going to cover the Nutter Fort rate increase. It's going to help us to cover a truck replacement fund. And then they were already operating at a deficit of about $78,000.
So 6 months' time, the bills are going to go up $3.
Correct.
Y'all applied for any money due to your losses? COVID? You applied for any losses due to COVID? Received any funding? Have you
No.
applied for it?
No, we've not applied for any.
Why?
Honestly, the revenues at Greater Harrison, with a lot of the stimulus payments and things that have came out, collections have been fairly steady.
We didn't see an increase on turn-offs. We were fortunate, we talked about that early on. It pretty much just ran normal.
We were in probably a 2 or 3 month period that we didn't do any shut-offs on folks. We didn't impose penalties, and that seemed to help.
No water or sewage depreciation to businesses being closed or schools?
Wasn't really that bad. I
We don't
mean,
have any industry, so to speak. We did have some grade schools, high school, but no, we weathered it fairly well compared to some other PSBs.
with as many customers as we have, we were able to keep moving forward.
Good job, Pat.
I asked for y'all to be on the agenda to discuss the South Harris, the Harrison County, or yeah, Greater Harrison. I'd like an explanation. I went through your minutes. I'm a little concerned about whether you think you're all gonna be in some lawsuits and you're having issues completing your sewer system down on 73. Could you care to give us an update on where you stand with that project and overruns that you're running into and the potential that according to your minutes, you don't have the money to pay for those overruns?
We really have no firm figure on overruns. Yes, Rover Contractor is now on contract 3, which is Route 73 Saltwell. They've experienced terrible luck on construction as far as rock and water. They're 240 days over construction. We have a wastewater plant that was built. It's ready to rock and roll. Right now, we're taking maybe 15,000 gallons a day sewage from a couple of existing subdivisions. One of them was already a customer of Greater Harrison. We took care of the package treatment plant, so we just tied that in. Today, I'm missing the meeting actually this morning. There's a construction meeting at the same time as this meeting. I should have an update. I'm going to guess they're at 75% complete. Hopefully within a month, we should be able to take all customers from the auto auction on Route 73 to what we call Green Tree Acres Mobile Home Park. We'll send letters out and we can start billing all those customers. As far as the time delays, you're familiar with this, Mr. Hinkle. They submit paperwork in and it's either denied or approved. Early on in COVID, they did have 3 crews that were sent home because of COVID. Construction delays, weather delays. I don't believe they put a firm number on the cost of the project. I think maybe what you see is the slip on the road where we got some additional funding. I don't know what you read.
I'm just going through.
700,000, is that the figure we're looking at?
That and what your costs are gonna overrun.
Yeah, we had a shortfall of a little over $700,000 there. As you know, this project was in 4 contracts. 3 of those contracts are pretty much complete right now. One of the big issues we had was we had the slip repair that needs done at the plant. By the time that Thrasher came up with all of those costs, it was a little over $700,000. We had some additional money that we were not going to use for capitalized interest. We moved that to a construction line item. And also rural development has committed another $400,000 worth of grant funding so that we can complete that part of the project.
So if I understand your minutes, you're gonna start paying on your bonds before you're fully operational.
We already have.
You already have.
Yes, sir.
This month.
And when we prepared our budget, this project was to add 750 customers. We've been working with Thrasher and with the contractors. We've worked on a time frame of implementing only a certain amount of those 750 customers at a time. And we believe if we can get all of those customers, the rest of them hooked on by January of 2022, we should not see a shortfall in those revenues. What we've done there, that's been one of the issues too, where we were able to put those rates into effect earlier on. We had a little bit of a buildup of money that has helped also. We also had the Country Club, the Laurel Park area. All of those folks have been pretty much hooked on. That was 300 and some customers. So that's helping us to move forward also right now.
And also in your minutes, you talked about a future sewer project. Correct. What future sewer project are we looking at?
We've looked at various areas, Quietdale area. We've got some issues with a pond over in Lost Creek. These are long-term plans we've laid out. Talked with Nutter Ford informally about maybe doing something with them to get Route 20 from the Nutter Ford Corporation line clear out to Quietdale. Usually the interstate is dividing line basically into a project for Quietdale.
I noticed that in your minutes, you said the county requested us, you all to look at that. Could you expand on the county, how the county asked you to do that?
I did.
Oh, so you represent the county now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Mr. Treecost approached you
Yes, sir.
on behalf of the county.
No, on behalf of what I think is an opportunity there for Harrison County as a whole.
Do you oversee the county's funds?
No,
Do you
sir.
think it was not appropriate to let Susan and I know that you approached one of our PSDs to discuss expanding and putting a sewer line out to a part of Harrison County without any talk to us? Sir, did he come talk to you about your sewer system?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we had a conversation about ARP funds.
about funding, but he didn't discuss on how he was gonna help you, did he?
I mean, she's been to a couple meetings in the past. Yes.
So,
And David, you're welcome to go to these meetings too if you want.
no, you know, Patsy, I'm not gonna go tell them to do anything. That's not my job. Their job is to figure out what they can afford. I mean, you already did it with Sun Valley and Lake Floyd. You held a meeting here to discuss it. I wasn't invited. You held it on your own in the courthouse. You've now approached these people to expand water and sewage. Did we authorize you to be the one-man show for all the water and sewage in the Harrison County and to speak on our behalf? I went through the minutes. I can't see it. I'll get to you in a second.
Hey, Bill.
No, I'll get to him in a second.
Hey, Bill.
I'm gonna make my
I'll get to
point,
you after.
Patsy, that you do whatever you want when it comes to water and sewage, and don't advise this commission of what you're doing or up to. He does not represent this commission. And when I see that you say you're 75 to 80% complete on a project for future sewage in your minutes, what project is that, Bill?
That would be our contracts 1, 2, 3, and 4, we just discussed.
Well, it says we'll have the
Contracts 1,
drawings
2,
in the present month. What future sewage project? You just told me it was Quiet Dell. Are you spending money on Quiet Dell on behalf of the counties at
No, sir.
request?
No, sir.
You didn't gonna tell me when I go down through the minutes where you've been talking to Nutter Fort Stonewood about doing that? You said it was on the behalf of the county. It's in your minutes.
I wasn't at the meeting last month, I was out on COVID, I don't know what it is you're reading. When we had our rating.
I'm more than happy to tell you which ones I'm reading. July 14th.
Okay, I'm not familiar with July 14th.
Oh, that's the earliest you've submitted to us, July 14th. That's how far you guys are behind on the minutes.
Bill, I'll
It's like
call
being
to
here.
order. You don't have to be treated like crap. Neither do I.
He has to answer
but we
the
are.
question.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he
Paul,
does.
Bill,
I
thank you
requested them to come in to talk
Thank
to
you
this
so
commission
much
about
for
what's
all you
going
do.
on.
Zach, thank you for all you do. You guys can go ahead and go, and thank you. We'll continue to work together as a team, and we'll continue to move forward.
You don't have
with the
that right
county.
to call me
Paul,
and stop what I'm
Paul,
doing,
do it.
Patsy.
Thank
No.
you. Thank you, guys.
And then just to let you know, you've come and asked for a rate increase. And I don't know when you think it's gonna happen. This really wasn't the proper venue because we're not, all I got was this. I don't know when you want it.
June the 30th, Mr. Hinkle.
I
We
know.
approached this
Hey.
commission on June.
Let him
30th.
speak,
I
Mr.
will,
Hinkle. Let
can
him
I speak?
respond.
And you told us to come back. The commission left us with the impression that you thought 2 rate increases instead of 1 would be better. Do a 6-month, later do another. That's what, and we talked about a truck fund. Maybe look at your minutes, maybe I'm wrong.
No,
But it was
you're
June
right.
the 30th.
You're
So
right.
we come today, the agenda says water rate increase.
And
It does
I
not
don't
say
know,
sewer.
I don't know why it says it on there, because I requested that you all come here to talk about the other. Somebody
Well, then,
always
actually,
seems
then,
to take
well, no,
this person right
no,
here,
let me speak, Mr.
No.
Hinkle. No,
add stuff to the
we're not
agenda
gonna
that
do
I
this.
didn't.
We're
put
not
on.
gonna do this
Well,
because
we're gonna do it
yeah,
because you
anytime
guys
there's an
just do
agenda
whatever
item
you
that
want.
doesn't meet to your liking,
I asked for it,
you
Susan.
move on.
You didn't.
And I didn't do anything with it either, Mr. Hinkle. I had nothing in this. And I
Can we
think,
try to get back?
exactly, I think we need to move
I don't know
on
what it
and let
is. Are we
these
here
two
today to
gentlemen
talk
go,
about rate increase?
and we'll get this straightened out in a
Or is
future
this
meeting.
commission gonna vote on a rate increase today?
No, I'm not voting on a rate increase.
No,
at this
and
point in
that's
time.
not our intention today. Our intention was to stop today, come back to you with a 2-tier rate tariff like we had discussed.
I just,
We
that's
had-
fine. I
Maybe you
agree
need
with
to
it.
get with
Yeah,
them on
we
your
added
own
the
and
truck
get your
fund,
questions
And
answered.
what we'd like to do is start moving forward with that process. We're not not asking for approval. We just wanted to make sure that we were keeping the commission in the loop with what the Greater Harrison County PSD was trying to do.
And I have a question. I'm really confused. If we would like to come and talk to you three together, I noticed they call
Work session, that's great.
What's at a work session?
That's right.
So we can legally do that.
You can legally talk to us one-on-one.
This one here though
anytime
makes
about anything.
promises. I know that. for a
I'd be
fact.
more.
Okay, we're getting off track
Okay,
again,
all right.
okay? If we
I
want to
make
set
a
up,
motion to move forward with Greater Harrison's rate increased request.
okay, the motion's been made to move forward with Greater Harrison's rate increase. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Any opposed?
No.
No, at
Wow,
this time.
you don't get your rate increase.
Keep it.
Okay, okay, we had a 10:45. Mr. Gaskins, is Mr. Gaskins here? Thank you, guys, all of you.
Susan, Madam President, clarify that there was nothing official taken today.
Oh, there was. There was. Oh, there
Okay.
was.
Please clarify.
You can't. It was a motion was made to move forward. You can't clarify my motion.
Okay, is Mr. Gaskins here?
You voted no.
Okay, I don't know what happened to Mr. Gaskins. Okay, let's move on to number 7. Consideration of approval of a project fund requisition for payment of costs associated with the project to be financed from proceeds of Series 2019 bonds issued by Charles Point Development, and also Series 2015 A and B for White Oaks, and Series 2008 A Charles Point number 2 North Land Bay. There is A and B requisitions. What's the pleasure? I will move to approve the 2 requisitions, A, number 35 for $11,007.50, and B, requisition for payment number, no, for
Second.
1,000. Okay, all in favor signify by saying, or any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Number 8, consideration of approval project fund requisitions for payment of costs associated with General Services Administration building to be financed from proceeds of the Series 2020 bonds issued for Harrison County Building Commission. A, requisition number 37 for $189,040.40 to Rackham. What's the pleasure?
Motion adopted the record and move forward. Approved.
Motion to adopt into record and move forward to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay, number 9, review, discuss zoning form for Christine's Cafe. Laura, do you have the information on that?
Yeah, she's come before us several different times. Last time it was for prepackaged food. This time, hold and operate with the liquor license as a private club license and limited lottery license.
And it's not in a municipality.
No. It's right outside. It's in that Square Marketplace, 8,000 Dairy Duck Drive.
Oh,
We've approved her before. She's just now asking for a private club license for this one.
okay, what's the pleasure?
Motion approved Christine's Cafe.
Okay, motion to approve Christine's Cafe. All in favor, or is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? None, motion carried. Okay, number 10, review, discuss, consider certificate of apportionment of real property taxes.
Motion approved and move forward.
And motion to approve and move forward. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Okay, number 11, review, discuss, consider permission to travel. We have A and B, one for Doug Comer and one for Pat McIntyre.
Motion to let A and B move forward.
Motion to allow A and B under number 11 to move forward
And approve.
and approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Okay, review, discuss, consider resolution authorizing filing of 22-23 county records management and preservation grant.
Motion to move forward and approve the 22-23 grant with record management.
Who is that for, Gina?
It's for the circuit clerk.
Okay, motion's been made to move forward with the records management and preservation grant that Gina alluded to. It's for the circuit clerk. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Okay, number 13, review, discuss, consider monthly minutes, financial information from various boards, committees, and public service districts, A, B, and C. Got Raider Harrison, Enlarged Hepzibah, and Sun Valley. Agendas and meeting minutes.
Motion to approve A, B, and C.
Motion's been made to approve A, B, and C under 13. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, hearing none, motion carried. Number 14, review, discuss, consider appointment of Amelia Randolph to Harrison County Parks and Recreation Board.
She filled out all the proper paperwork, Laura.
Yes, she has.
Motion to move forward.
Rural district is,
Yeah, just if I may chime in, so, okay.
yes, sir.
The bylaws for the Parks and Rec appointments, the current bylaws do require the appointments to conform with certain magisterial district requirements. Yesterday, I attended the Parks and Rec board meeting. They couldn't really identify how the current appointment stands with districts. So I would like some time to confirm that we're in compliance with. the
She's taking the
bylaws.
place of somebody living in the same city she did.
But we need to confirm the rural composition of the board, just to make sure we're correct. That's where my concern comes in.
Table it for a week.
No, you guys can, I'm not. She's replacing somebody that lived a block from her house. They both live in Bridgeport.
Oh, Bridgeport's already overloaded on that board, max rural districts. So we're just gonna ignore the rule. Oh, we do that all the time here.
Motion to move forward.
Motion's been made to move forward and approve. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Oh, I'll say it, no.
Okay.
I mean,
Well, this has been
Somebody
going
might
on,
as well
this
do
has
what
been
it
going
is.
on for, you've been here how long? You've been doing it
You know what,
for how long? So, That's okay, no,
Doesn't
no,
make it right.
I'm not talking about it.
Doesn't make it right.
No, it
Doesn't say
doesn't,
that's what
no,
makes
it
right.
doesn't, no, it doesn't.
But when their board tosses them off, you're all right with it.
We'll deal with that when we get there. Okay, review, discuss, consider courthouse protocol on
another question.
pandemic procedures. Number 15,
Laura,
15,
yeah,
if Mr. Treehouse speak to this before she does, considering he represents us at the health department, I'd like to know what the health department's opinion is.
they do recommend that we go full mask
We'll ask her what.
for the courthouse and
That's
our,
it.
and our facilities. And that is it.
Ms. Pease, can you tell us what you found out? That's, I believe, what you were tasked to do.
Yes, I received a letter from Director Bundy that he does recommend that we go back to wearing masks. And of course, the things that we are all continuing to do to wash hands, sanitize surfaces.
Motion move forward as stated by the county administrator.
I don't know what they would- Somebody wants to read that letter into the record so we know what's being said, that would be great.
I think she can tell us what this letter says.
Sure to have.
So it's mask, wash hands, and clean surfaces.
Based
Those
on,
three items.
based on the
I- I-
environment.
Social
Second,
distance.
my second passage, my motion that we just do those three things. Motion on the floor.
I'd like, I don't remember what he said. Did he say the letter or I mean,
No, she,
can you
He
want to
said what
amend your
she said.
motion to include all of these?
Yes, Madam President.
There are
well, let's
1,
read 'em.
2, 3, 4. Okay, encouraging all employees to become vaccinated at the earliest opportunity.
Excuse me, what?
Encouraging all employees, I'm not repeating myself. You got,
I
you
just wanna-
had the choice to have the letter and read it yourself. Wear a mask in all indoor spaces, whether vaccinated or not. Maintain appropriate social distance in all public spaces. Continue to wash hands and sanitize surfaces frequently. Encourage employees to be tested should they develop any symptoms and or be exposed to someone with COVID-19.
And if employees fail to do this, is there a repercussion? Or is this just a mask?
At this time, I masked.
Ask it a question.
Okay, and
They
answer.
don't want to wear it, what's the repercussion?
No, I think we need to require a mask in the courthouse. It's just
Yeah.
like before, they can't enter if they
This
don't
is
have a
employees
mask.
only.
No, employees and public.
Is that what that says?
That's what I
Public?
just. Okay, I will entertain a motion
Motion to
that we
approve.
require public and employees to wear a mask within the courthouse together with these 5 issues that the health department presented to us.
Motion to approve this.
Motion has been made as stated. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Okay, Mr. Bump, I think we're a few minutes late for you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you guys today?
I'm here.
Here to explain, I guess, a few things off the reports that was asked of me.
Yes, sir.
One of the first
Who asked
things,
you to come?
what's that?
Who asked you to come?
It was, I think it came from Mr. Hinkle. And it's legitimate questions, I believe. The COVID thing is the first thing that has always been on our weekly report because that's a moving target constantly, as was just evidenced by what you guys had to do here this morning. Things are changing constantly. We're monitoring our employees and whatnot and going through the same things of symptoms and exposures and dealing with trying to limit any exposure within our building. Any visitors in the form of technicians or whatever stay masked all the time when they're around our population, just because we don't know where they've been or what they've done or whatever. We likewise encourage vaccinations as the public has been done throughout. Probably the scariest thing that if you're watching any national news, it hasn't happened here yet, but you're starting to see significant problems with EMS coverage due to hospitals being full, ambulances being full and whatnot. And that's kind of scary. Again, we haven't seen it hit directly home yet, but it's something that everybody, where did it go? You know, it's foremost in everybody's mind. So we'll have to pay attention to that and deal with it as it goes.
You have established protocols to send somebody to a location where you know there's somebody's been exposed or has COVID.
The protocols have been in forever and are still there, not forever, but since then. That question is asked on every ambulance call and is relayed to the providers on every ambulance call, whether or not there's COVID exposure or known COVID or COVID symptoms even. So yeah, that came out early on in the event, and it took a little while to get it to take hold properly because it's just something very, very new. But it is very much a question asked on every medical call today. There was another thing that we've been dealing with on there, and I think Laura's got it taken care of for us. Our GIS software, the licensing had come due, and there was some language in the contracts that needed adjusted. She got that taken care of, so that is actually no longer a concern that we have. Along that same lines, there's a change in the platform from the original, I hope I don't talk too geeky, the original ArcGIS desktop platform, which I've been using for now 20 years, and they've gone to an ArcGIS Pro, which over the last 5 or 6 years hasn't been a complete product. So I've not bothered to transition to it personally. The Esri company is now encouraging highly folks to start moving to that platform. It's more robust. It's a little bit different licensing, has more features now. And coincidentally, just yesterday, I got an email from the state GIS group that they're going to be hosting a seminar on addressing and mapping using the GIS, the Esri GIS software. And one of the main points on that is actually the transition from the desktop to the pro version. That seminar is set up for Thursday, the 30th of September. I sent you an email, sent it to all the local players in the addressing game. Charlotte and I have been talking. I think I'm gonna have her come over to our facility and we'll put it up on the big screen and learn together how the new platform works. Some of it's going to be more back-end server related stuff that she's going to just shake her head and smack me around because she's getting bored. But a lot of it will be how to use the software as well and things we can do with it. So hopefully that'll get that off top dead center and get moving with it. On the tower things, there's Salem and Shinston both have a few issues that need dealt with structurally. On both of them, I've got two of our tenants, if you will, AT&T and US Sailor, are studying what needs to be done to bring them up to code. Code is another, it's a moving target as well. But they're getting with their engineers to see what it would take to bring them up to today's standards, repairing any issues that have been there. And then get back and see how, in the past, they've just done it. They may ask for some rent abatement if it's an expensive project, which would mean we give them half off their rent, but that'll come back before this body, obviously, before any change in contract terms. But I'm letting folks that have tens of thousands of towers look at it instead of us that have 5, and let them help guide us through that unknown waters.
So these repairs belong to us.
Yes, absolutely.
What do you budget each year for power repair?
We normally don't do a lot of repairs. We do about $5,000 per tower in light work, and every 3 years we get them re-inspected, which is another $2,000 per tower. So it's normally less than $10,000 or $15,000 a year.
What about for establishing new towers in town?
We don't have that funding. We rely on the state to do that. We don't have a pressing need initially for that as far as public safety goes. The Sailor World absolutely does. There are programs at the state level to make that happen. And quite frankly, I haven't approached that lately. We did build the Grafton Tower with some of that funded money. There's how long that lasts, I don't know, because a lot of that was, quote, diversion money from 911, which the FCC clamped down hard on, saying you can't do that anymore, even though it was kind of sort of maybe sometimes used in the 911 world. A lot of the towers being built weren't, so they clamped down pretty hard on that.
About subject, how many grants do you apply for you?
Me, none.
For our 911 service?
There, if I see something that ever looks promising, I would send it up the chain. I don't know that I've ever seen a whole lot come down that would be appropriate. Most of them tend to come to the county level, and you guys see them before I do.
Does Taylor County increase their phone rate yet?
I'll have to check with Orville and see where he's at on that. Mr. Wright was the one carrying that torch for him. Let me write that down, let's die. We'll remember to tell me as well, won't you? I know they've worked 4 or 5 months ago, he said he was working on it, but he's not been over for one of the board meetings for quite a while. Again, people start traveling.
Oh, I have, thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
And that what you asked was on your desk, sir.
Thank you very much.
May I ask one thing? Do you have an update on the tower out for Stoddard County?
Got an email, yeah, that's the one. We've been working on it together with Wetzel County, Doddridge County, Tyler County somewhat. When we got the radio gear out there, we had acquired, and I'll just leave it at that, the radio stack for that tower. That sits right above Wallace at the Doddridge County line. The radio gear is there. The antennas came up missing at the state level. And they had sworn they would get them for us, and we'd be good to go. So we had applied for frequencies, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. And since we didn't get those frequencies on the air, we lost them. So we're in line to apply for those frequencies again, but until those antenna and feed line are there, I'm not going to do it and waste our money again. The email I got from the gentleman at the state yesterday said he is still trying to get that stuff ordered. Apparently ordering with the state is a bit of a problematic thing. So yes, it's still a project. That tower would cover for us a lot of the Wallace, way north of Salem, and again, spills into Marion County, spills into Tyler County, spills into Doddridge County. It's Doddridge County's tower. It sits in Doddridge County. We're working collaboratively with them on it.
Thank you, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
I will be in. Thanks.
Okay, number 16, review, discuss, consider resolution applying for the West Virginia Courthouse Facilities Improvement Funds. Gina?
Yeah, since the COVID, I believe all of our water fountains have been disconnected. And I think it's important that people have access to water. So these are fountains that will be wall mounted, that you fill up a bottle or glass. That's what I'd like to try to get.
Motion to approve and move forward.
A motion to approve and move forward.
What's
And
the grant amount?
It's up to $100,000 with a 10% match. I don't have quotes on these. These run anywhere from $15,000 to $2,000 a piece. And so it's not going to be a huge grant.
How many pounds do we have?
We have fountains 4.
Yeah,
And the maintenance, Danny's supposed to give me an exact number. He hasn't got back with me yet, but he's supposed to give me an exact number.
Danny.
Hamrick, that's on the interim maintenance director, the director of interim maintenance.
I thought he worked in plant.
He does, but I believe he was placed as an interim.
Another one, I guess we just decided not to do ourselves on. So he's our interim maintenance. What day was that effective? I wasn't informed that he was our maintenance.
Unless I'm wrong, but he came to
I
our
don't know if
office.
she's wrong.
anyhow, that's not the, anyhow, that is not the subject. Right now, we are,
Yeah. call
any
questions.
further questions on the water fountain? Okay. Hearing none, motion's been made to approve and fix signatures. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, hearing none, motion carried. We have a state hearing at 11:15.
There's no one out here.
Table.
Okay, motion's been made to table this item, and we'll look into it. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Okay, number 17 is review, discuss, consider adoption of levy order for mass transit center with election to be held on Saturday, January 22nd, 2022. Okay. Anybody speak to this?
Yes, I've had requests on why we have not done anything with the levy, and I would like to go ahead and at least get the mass transit done based on previous levies. Base levy would start out with what we did this year with 5% increase each year, set it up for election or for to be voted on January the 22nd. Early voting would be the week before. There's no big thing to this. I want to see a 5% increase so they're able to cover their increases. I'd like for us to go ahead and make that commitment to them. We've been sitting on this since the middle of July and have not moved forward anywhere with this levy for transit. So I'll make a motion that we go on with mass transit levy.
As you presented?
It's presented, Susan, based upon the last year's. Nothing's changed other than the 5% increase.
Okay, motion,
Somebody presented in the minutes or in the agenda, which wasn't mine, that we should not do a 5% increase each year.
Right.
And I didn't make that as part of my agenda item. Somebody again took it upon themselves to adjust an agenda item, which don't understand if the commissioner makes an agenda item, why staff is allowed to change those items.
well, I believe you were one of the commissioners that were always wanting to know why something wasn't attached. And I believe she probably thought it was for that, and you didn't send her an attachment, am I correct?
Wasn't
Yes,
asked.
I did not know.
Okay, so the motion's been made to move forward with what you presented today to the commission.
Yes, ma'am, if you would like to give a copy to Mr. Truecoff to look at.
I already did. I already did. Gave you one.
Okay, would you like another copy?
Sure. Well, maybe there's one over there. I don't know. Is that the one I gave you? Okay, all in favor of approving the notice of levy election presented by Commissioner Hinkle? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? I'm opposed because it's being worked on, so.
Roger, yeah.
I mean, it's not been, we've not been sitting on it,
Yeah, it's preliminary right now, right?
so
No, this is it, the set.
that's yours. That's yours.
Set the
And
date.
But that's what we've already discussed, right?
this is different. He's
I'm
presenting it
keeping
a
the
different.
5% increase, Patsy, based upon the last year that we operated. And it'll increase 5% every year. for the next
See,
5
nobody
years.
saw this until today. He didn't present this until today.
Do we want to do the 1% increase?
I personally don't.
Doesn't matter to me. Laura?
I believe, and Michelle can confirm me on this, that the auditor's office does not believe that a 5% every year can be sustainable. And that is correct? Yes.
Okay, actually, Michelle should, or Michelle, what we should do is prove it without the 5% increase.
So we've done this for the last 10 years. Now it's not
Okay, we'll take-
something that we can do.
We can, do it, they do not believe that it is sustainable.
Laura, you're working on this.
I am, we have a meeting with the auditor's office actually tomorrow afternoon.
Okay, the motion to table.
You just already approved the motion.
For all the work these girls have done. Okay. Thank you, girls, for what you the time you put into this. Okay, review, discuss, consider adoption of levy order for vital services with election to be held on Saturday, January 22nd, 2022.
Yeah, we've been sitting on this since July.
No, we have not been sitting on this since July.
Yeah, why am I
Okay.
saying that? What's for diligently on this?
What's, there's not, we gave her the numbers. All she had to do was plug an impact. We could have had this 2 or 3 weeks afterwards. I don't know what she's working on diligently to come up with.
But anyhow, just move forward with number 18. It's a pleasure. No, you can make a motion. Oh, this is this is, okay, you're okay on the bus, you're okay.
Yeah, the buses will move
Yeah.
forward. The 18 is a whole different ball of wax.
Just to be clear, you all are adopting the levy order as presented on 17. That's what the
Yes.
agenda item is, and that's been done.
Okay,
Okay, just to be clear.
I'm making a motion to hold the levy order for the following: senior citizens, Harrison County Emergency Ambulance Authority, Bi-County Nutritional Health Access, Susan Duval, Clarksburg Health Department, Harrison County Child Advocacy Center, Parks and Rec, Harrison County Courthouse Security, Harrison County Animal Control and Facility, Harrison County Bureau of 911 Emergency Dispatch Operations and Facility. My motion is that we base everything upon last year's final ending number. We sat in a meeting in July and agreed to do increases for County Nutritional 10,000, Health Access by 10,000. We originally talked about animal control at 100,000, but we also talked about taking 400,000 from OEM. I've understood from their budgeting that they don't think they can afford $400,000 decrease in their funding. So I'm suggesting 200,000 decrease in their funding. Eliminating the Summit Center, increasing security at the courthouse by 100. Child advocacy at 30 and 69,000 Parks and Rec because we have not received the budget request. If you guys would like to go down through and discuss each one of these, I would love to do it.
You make a motion to move forward with this? Is that what your motion was? Have you
Yeah.
listed them?
Yeah, and to discuss it. If you want to discuss it, if you don't want to discuss it, but no, I don't care.
And motion's been made to move forward with the notice of levy election for the vital services to be held on January 22nd, 2022, as stated, as presented this morning by Mr. Hinkle. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? No. Failed. Number 19, Laura, do you have anything?
The judges accepted the 6-4 probation room, will be moving in there. We have 2 employees that are actually tied to Parks and Rec right now, but they've been working here at the courthouse helping out. I would like to bring them here to the courthouse. They've been coming in early and spraying down all the lobbies in the area, especially with the uptick in COVID. I would like to bring them here under the courthouse.
We have two
Two.
that are in the courthouse.
Yes. There's my Parks and Rec. Billy Webb and Jason Saturday.
So you're bringing them into the general fund.
There's a link on our website that'll take you to the county's YouTube pages with previous meetings available. And the RFP for engineering services for the rail trail is posted on our website. That is all.
The rail trail.
I guess this is under your phone.
No, I'm asking her a question. I'm asking her, she made comments. I can't ask her questions about what she talked about.
Excuse me. Go right ahead.
I mean, if that's,
Go right ahead and ask the question, Mr. Hamrick.
okay, I'm just gonna ask about the rail trail engineering. Is what now?
For an RFP. It was voted on in a meeting, so I move forward with that.
Well, I guess you better go read the minutes. Because it was not good.
Which time?
That'll better go read the minutes. And well, then you need to pull that part of it. Because,
I'd find the
Right.
minutes first.
so you want to put something out that hasn't been approved.
We did approve it. Did you
Now,
remember?
Patsy, I can go show you where you voted, that I said that we wanted to hire a engineer of record. And you voted not to.
No, we voted.
Laura, will you
200.
look into that and see what you can
Yeah,
find?
we
Yes,
did.
I will.
We did. what-
Because you guys contradicted yourselves at that. You voted. to
Laura's
do
gonna
it,
look
not
into it.
to. I don't need Laura to look into it. I already know it.
I do.
You guys might go back and
I
read the
would, I
minutes
would like,
once in a
I would
while.
like to know. Mr. Creekhouse, do you have any?
Yeah. Hey, Laura, when we do come back to item 18 that you're working on the, go ahead and include the other levy with the fire departments.
Okay.
Make it a separate agenda item because there's two separate individuals.
Yes.
And then I was to understand tomorrow you're meeting with the auditor's office.
Correct.
So things are moving.
They are.
Okay. Okay. That's all. And as far as the RFP is concerned, we have approved that. So let me know by the end of business today, because I do want to move forward. I think it's important that we have an engineer of record on. Yeah, I think it'll help us greatly. That's all I have.
I don't have anything. You want Peggy to speak? Do you want to go ahead, Mr. Smith? If you have-
Oh, don't wait till she speaks.
Peggy, do you want to,
Hey, Peggy.
you're a little 2 minutes early, but do you want to go ahead?
Sure.
Okay.
Get out here 2 minutes quicker. I brought notes, don't let them fool you because they're written in big.
She's got glasses too, so she makes sure she.
Yes, I need my glasses. I guess this is just for an overview of the OEM, what we've been doing since. After Laura's departure, we did a bit of house cleaning. I had a borrowed employee from Parks and Rec. She came up and she was assisting us through the vaccine hotline. So basically, we went through boxes of old stuff that was carried from the old building. We went through the redundant stuff, the stuff that was no longer needed, the stuff that was already on file with the state. You know, we downsized. We worked on the filing cabinets. We filed all the dam plans, impoundments, all the site safety plans. They're updated current year +2. Each item was placed in their own cabinet, so it's, you know, someone can find them easily instead of they were just all in one same drawer. Inventory was taken of all the state and county warehoused PPE at the OEM. All boxes were properly marked for easy access and identification. I still attend regular state OEM meetings every Tuesday via Zoom. We still have a great partnership with the health department. They reach out to us if they have a need or if they have a health update. and any COVID-related public health issues. We promote their PCR testing because they still do PCR testing on Wednesday. They also still have COVID vaccines available, and they still do have a clinic available there. You have to call for an appointment. Our office gets a lot of inquiries because we did the vaccine hotline. So when we called people back, a lot of people were smart enough that they captured our number and would call us back. So we're getting a lot of calls on the booster stuff, and the booster's still kind of out there in the ether. I mean, it's only for a select few, the ones with severe medical conditions. We're also just discussing planning options for the booster, things like clinics, if it can be handled through the WVU medicine app, or if we have to set up another hotline, maybe do a mass thing like at the Armory again, a little farther down the road. The biggest part of what the office has been doing lately is the Clarksburg Water Board's lead issue. We're working with the Clarksburg Water Board. We set them up a hotline, not really a hotline, it's pretty much just a message. They can call a number, they can leave a message that they want their water sampled. We put it on a spreadsheet, we send it to the water board dispatches their trucks the next morning to drop off sample bottles, and then they pick them up the next day. The water board also requested the National Guard to help them distribute bottled water. They requested the bottled water. We made a request through the state through E-Team. The National Guard was at the water board for 7 days. And on day 7, they wanted it extended additional 2 days because they got 2,000 Brita filters in. So for the weekend, the National Guard delivered filters all through Clarksburg. With the water board lead issue, we do a weekly call with federal and state EPA, Cabinet Secretary Crouch from DHHR, West Virginia State Health Officer Dr. Ann Amjad, representatives from Senator Capito's office, Manchin's office, the West Virginia Department of Homeland Security, and our Region 2 liaison. That's just a few of us. It's a big call, still ongoing. Clarksburg still has the issue. They're trying to figure it out. They have to be monitored by the EPA. I'm part of that chain, being in the Office of Emergency Management, so we attend the call. We set up that hotline on the EPA's request. So we just, it just sits there. We don't get many calls. It's handled in a day. We have 24, we tell the people on the machine that they will get back to them the next business day, but mostly we get them handled within the day. We send them, Clarksburg sends somebody out. Hurricane Ida, that was a big event. The state EOC stood up because the governor issued a state of preparedness and then changed it to a state of emergency later. It was just weather briefings all the time. So all these people want to talk about weather. I'm not a weather person. She makes me send out weather.
But I guess from your emails, people like it.
Yeah. We got an app, we got the news, we got the window. Currently, I'm working with the Sheriff's Department. Our department had Project Lifesaver. That was for people who have a tendency to wander. You put a bracelet on, they're able to be monitored every month. Their battery has to be changed. I'm no longer certified for that program, and it needs a 24-hour agency. So I did approach the sheriff. The sheriff is receptive to it. I did contact Project Lifesaver International. I inventoried what we had as far as equipment. They've got to get with the Sheriff's Department to redo a contract and all that stuff, but we'll successfully transfer it to them. They'll be trained through Project Lifesaver how to hunt, search, seek, find due to Lifesaver standards. And if someone goes missing in the night, there's always somebody available. The city of Bridgeport, it's hired a new emergency manager, Tim Curry. I met with him on the overview about what his ideas were for an emergency manager. He came from Marion County. He's a pilot. He's also a certified drone pilot. He worked EMS. He's done several things. I made arrangements for the state liaison to come down. E-team is our program that we use to request state assets. If there's an emergency, you know, you can read a little brief synopsis about the emergency, and if you need the National Guard, that's where you have to go request it. Sometimes they'll send you a price because stuff costs money. And we held a class. We had him, Tim, I had the communication center manager. I had a representative from the health department because they just needed to research and re-overview in case there were changes made. And I'm hoping to possibly get the second communications room manager and extend it down to the rank of captain. When I first took that job, all supervisors had E-team capabilities in case something would happen in the night, mine disaster, all that stuff you have to report to the state. They want it done in a timely manner. You know, if you're home and you get the, you know, if they're sitting there, they have the ability to go put it in there. Tier 2, that's a chemical reporting system that anyone in Harrison County that stores chemicals or uses chemicals in any kind of quantity has to report to the state. That has gone automated. There's now a Tier 2 program. We get notifications that someone is compliant with their Tier 2 via email. I keep a little file when I throw them in there. So while I had Renee in our office, I went and validated to make sure that everything that we got that said, hey, we're compliant, I made sure was on that site. So that's about it.
Great job.
It's the same job. It's an important job.
I think you've done a great handle on it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
A lot of it was cleaning house because we had a lot of paper that we just didn't need to keep. And yeah, if it's on file somewhere, it's like, we're good. But that's it.
Thank you.
Go. You're welcome.
Appreciate what you're doing and stepping up.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Hagel, you have any comments?
I'd like to discuss our personnel manual.
Not on the agenda.
I can-
You can talk about it. Okay, we can't, we're gonna discuss it, but you can talk about it, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna talk about it. Suspension with and without pay. I'll wait for Pat to come back. Director that he's left the room. Notice for the record, he's out giving interviews on the newspaper or with the Channel 12 News instead of attending the meeting.
Can you see that from where you're at?
I saw her walk out. I'm sure I can walk over here and see it just fine, Susan.
I just want to make sure we get it right on the record, that's all.
Yep. He is out there giving an interview during a commission meeting instead of sitting in a commission meeting. As long as that's on the record, everybody at Zoom and soon to be YouTube knows that Mr. Treecost is more interested in being on the Channel 12 News than I'm going to go ahead and just step out here too, Susan. We don't really need to continue with the meeting.
So are you motion to adjourn?
Susan, you want to come out here and attend the meeting?
No, I'd like for Mr. Treecost to come back in this room and Mr. Hinkle to come back in this room so we can finish this meeting. Mr. Treecost, could you please come back to the meeting? No, I just like to finish one thing before we go to something else. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Hinkle.
where I was interrupted by Mr. Creekoff. Suspension with or without pay up to 10 days may be used as a disciplinary tool and may be memorialized in writing.
Is this something?
And a
that falls under
constitutional
personnel matter?
official may be witnessed. And a copy shall be sent to the Harrison County Commission for review, compliance with local, state, and federal procedures. I would hope that in the future, we do that. Also, I'd like to point out to people that an example of immediate discharge is the falsification of records, including time worked. We don't do that in this courthouse. We give people verbal warnings for that. But under guidelines for a verbal warning is tardiness, unauthorized absence, foul or abusive language, inefficiency or negligence in the performance of duties, inability to work with others, violation of any work rule, or horseplay. None of these are fireable offenses according to our paperwork. But we went over and beyond everything that we say is a verbal warning. And we had an employee who falsified time records who got a verbal. This commissioner is totally confused on how our county administrator serves out disciplinary action and does not come before this commission to find out if what she's doing, we approve. Today, we hired 2 people in planning that this citizens of Harrison County and this commissioner had no idea why we hired them or for what position. And the other 2 commissioners don't care. Today, I tried to discuss, and I've asked for other work sessions on the levy. At the rate we're going, it'll be February before we vote. And maybe people don't understand timelines, but if we wait that long and the levy fails, we will be on the ability to vote for another levy, and we will cause people to not get their funding. It took me all of 3 days to come up with this. I've been waiting as a commissioner for 2 months for this same information. I don't know what's so hard to do about it. If it's something that staff's not capable of handling, then they need to step up and ask for help. But it's ridiculous that we have waited this amount of time to get this information to let these people know that we're going to get a levy out so that they can know that their funding's coming. So,
They have a motion. Motion's been made to adjourn. All in
Yeah,
favor,
now.
signify by saying aye. Aye.